we'd like to continue with our gearbox project, and we want to create the front housing by using the mechanical design part design. So you can name it to housing front, for example, or front housing. It's up to you. And click on the YZ plane, and we start sketching by defining two circles, and the first circle should start with the center point at the origin here, and then we measure the diameter. So the diameter is 100 millimeter. Next, we create a second circle with the center point coincided with the vertical line here, and the diameter is 110. Next, this point must have a distance between the first point at 50 millimeter. And next, we create a tangential line between these two circles. Okay, so we managed to create the first tangent, and then we need to select the line, and by pressing Control, we select the second line, which is the circle, and by choosing constraint definition, we click on tangent C and OK. So repeat that for the next side. So this also must be tangent with each other. Lastly, we create the sketch on this bottom circle, and then by selecting the line here, we press Ctrl, select the vertical line, and make sure that this line is symmetrical, or these 2 points are symmetrical. And then we measure the dimension, and the bottom line should be 50 millimeter. Okay, so to finish our sketch, we have to trim the unwanted lines, that is this line, and also this curve. So we select that, we activate the trim button, and we can exit the sketch. So after exiting the sketch, you click on pad by selecting the sketch, and we create a length of 7, so this thickness is 7. Click on tick, so we are creating a surface profile. So the second we use 0, the thickness 2 will be 12, and thickness 1 will be 0. So 12 is being padded upwards and 0 downwards. So click preview, we have that surface. Right. Oh, I forgot to change the direction, so it should be in the reverse direction. Right. Next, so we have a 7 millimeter here, and our surface plane is on the 0, 0 here. So this one is negative 7 millimeter. We maximize back the part body. Part 1, click sketch button. We create the second sketch using the sketch just now, and change the length to 0. We click on more. Now we need to create this one, negative direction, negative 2 millimeter of the sketch, and it should be closing the surface, but then this surface should be on this side, so we need to reverse direction, should be on that side. So it is now closing this surface. Then we need to project this plane forward at 53 millimeter. Okay. Next, by selecting this plane, we create the sketch of a circle, and the circle dimension is 50 millimeter. Okay, the center point is at the origin, 50 millimeter in radius or 100 millimeter in diameter. Just to make sure that they are concentricity with the outer flange, we create the constraint definition, and then we exit the sketch. Next, by selecting the sketch, we go to drafted filleted pad, and on the limit we click on this surface, and the length is 0, so the angle is 9, the neutral element is second limit. Disable all the fillets, and then you click OK. Right, so just to make sure that these two lines are 5 millimeter with each other. Yes, because the thickness of this wall is only 2 millimeter, and we have this first body as 7 millimeter in thickness. Right, next what we need to do is create a new body part, and this new body part should be inserted by using a new body function. So we create body. You see, this is an underlined line, which means that now this body is activated for our work. So what we have to do now is create a sketch on this plane first, on the surface, and we create the circle, and the circle has a dimension of 85, and this must be concentricity with the outer flange. Then we create a next sketch on this plane, the outer flange plane, also a circle, and this time the diameter is 75. And also need to make sure that they are concentricity with the outer flange. Right, after we have created these sketches, two lines, two circles, we need to select the outer circles and then create multi-section solids. Then select the second circles, make sure that both lines of the closing point showing in the same direction. If it is not, you have to change it back, and then click OK. So we will create one body. Next, we go back to this multi-section solid. We go back to sketch 3. Okay, select the sketch 3 and we go to pad. Create a 10 millimeter dimension. Click OK. Towards the other side of this body. Okay, now we have finished creating the body 2. What we have to do now is we go to insert Boolean operations, click on remove. So we have removed the second body, and when this body is being placed, it's being placed back into the first part body, the main body. So this is the Boolean operation. Alright, now we continue with second sketch. Next sketch, now we need to select ZX plane. So on this plane, I can change it to this side so that it is much easier to imagine. Now what we need to do is we need to create a profile with this shape. So we don't bother about the dimension yet, so just create this sketch with this shape, And then we do the dimensioning. So we start with this top dimension. This is 5.5. This point and this point is 16. And this top point with this horizontal line is 45. And this length and this length, this length, this length, this length, and this line. So this should be 9. This should be 12. This should be 14. And this 2 must be 2.5. And this 2 must have an angle of 35. This line and this line must have a distance of 20. So you have to create this drawing, sketching, and if you have a correct sketch, all is now green. So this sketch is actually located in the middle of the body. So, and then you can exit the sketch now by using shaft function. We extrude the sketch around the x-axis. Click OK. So we close back the surface. Okay, now we need to create plane 20 millimeter in the negative direction of this plane. So click offset from plane 20, and then you can click on reverse direction or on the red arrow there. So we have this plane. Okay, from this plane we create the sketch, and the sketch consists of 2 circles. The center point is from the origin, and these 2 circles have a dimension. The outer one is 80 and the inner one is 50. So both are concentricity without the flange. Alright, now exit the sketch. After we are exiting the sketch, we need to create a pad 20 millimeter towards the end. So we close back the hole that we have created just now, and next we create another sketch on this plane. So the sketch consists of a circle, and the dimension is, so the dimensions is 42 millimeter, and it should also have a concentricity without the flange. Click OK, and we exit the sketch. Now here is 8. We must create a thick surface. This one is 13.5 and this one is 5.5. Click preview. You should have this profile flange. Okay, by clicking OK, we have this shape of our front housing. Alright, now we click back on the ZX plane. We need to create a new sketch. So we can change the normal view. We need to create a sketch of a rectangle on this flange. So just a rectangle over there. The dimension is the dimension of this rectangle is 1.8 and this one is 4. And distance between this top one, this horizontal line will be 22.5, and this towards the outer line is 59.5. Okay, so basically this line will intersect on this solid, and we need to create a groove by using this rectangle, and this will be the basis of our position of the placement of our snap ring. Okay, so we just exit the sketch. So then we create the groove, and the selection axis rotation is X. Let's click OK. So we have this groove created like that. Next, we can do the filleting. First, we create a chamfering of this thing, of this outer radius here. So we create a chamfering on this edge. Chamfer. The length is 8. The angle is 10 millimeter. Click OK. So we have this tilted surface. So it's been chamfered. The whole flange is being chamfered. Now we can create the fillet on all the of the line that can be seen here. So this one, all these lines, this line, and okay, on this dimension is 1.5, 13 elements. Select the lines here to graph, and last but not least is this line. Okay, so we have all the lines being selected to be filleted at 1.5 millimeter radius. This is also being given in our instruction sheet like that. Okay, construction of the front housing, and we select the ZX axis again, and this time we would like to create a stiffener. The Z axis, I change the view by clicking on the normal view arrow, and now we create a line just passing through these two surfaces, and this surface with this line should be coincidence, and this point with this line should have a dimension. So this is 60 millimeter in distance, and this the So this line with this outer line should have center angle of 70. So this point and this point should have a length of horizontal length of 48. Okay. So with this dimension, we have ensured that the line here is located on the surface of this flange, so we can then exit the workbench. Now by clicking on the stiffener function, yes, we can create the dimension of the stiffener. The mode is from side and the thickness is 6 millimeter. Click preview and click OK. So we have the stiffener on top of the flange. Next, we go to edge fillet. We select what we need to create is now this graph angle. We choose both sides. Is for degrees. The element is on the top surface. So click OK on that. Next, we have to create tritangent fillet. So face to fillet is these surfaces, and face to remove is the top surface. So click OK, and we get the filleted ribs. Right. So with this part body, we can maximize the part body tree, and we can look at stiffener function. So here these three elements are belong to the stiffener, filleted stiffener. Now we need to highlight both trees because we want to project it using the circular pattern on the surface of this flange. So we now choose circular pattern. The actual reference we change to complete crown. The instances is 6, and the reference element will be the x-axis. So we click on OK. We have all the 6 stiffeners created on the surface of this flange. Okay, now what we want to do is to create the bore holes for the bore to attach the front surface with the gearbox housing later on. So we need to create sketch first. So by clicking on the surface, this flange surface or the front cover surface, we click on sketch, and we need to create 2 circles. So these circles will be the basis of the position of where we want to put our position of the center bore, and we measure this to be 112 millimeter, and make sure that the point is starting at the origin, and this circle must have a distance between this at 50 millimeter. So this circle must have a distance with the origin of 50 millimeter, and the diameter of this circle will be 122. Right, next what we need to create is 2 lines, one connecting here and the other one connecting here. We also need to create a line connecting this surface and another one connecting on this circumference line. Now we need to measure the angle of this line with the vertical lines. Okay, so right there, and this is 30 degrees, and this should remain 90 degrees. And this line, this vertical line should have the angle of 20. And this line with this vertical line must have a um, angle of 70 degree. So because I created wait, this one is wrong. Yeah. So it should be the other way around. So we have to delete. I have to delete the constraint, horizontal constraint. This represent the connection between this endpoint of this line with the line of the circumference. Okay, so and this remain 90 degrees. Next, what we need to do is we have to convert all the sketches that we have created just now into construction line. So create construction element, click back on the screen, click back on the construction line, and what we need to create now is just point by clicking, and this point should sit on the intersection uh, point between the both lines, and another point here, another point here, and last point will be here. Okay, now we need to create this point also on this side. So what we have to do is just click on these 2 points, click on mirror, click on this vertical line. Same goes for these 2 points. I can also select all fours together and just click on the mirror and vertical line. Okay, so with that we have finished creating the center bore of our bore holes. So we exit the sketch. We have these points in orange. Next, what we need to create is what we need to create next is the sketch on this surface again, and this time we need to create a circle, and the circle has a diameter of 12. We start here and then choose these 2 points and make sure that they are coincident with each other. See the sketch, we create a pad on that sketch with the length of 12 millimeter, and also select mirror extend. The length is 1.5 millimeter. Mirror extend and we click OK. So we have this surface like that. Next, what we want to do is we create a hole, and then we select this point, and then we select this surface. Alright. So extension up to next. Go to thread definition, threaded. Go to metric tick pitch, change to M8, click preview, click OK, and the hole should be in M5 size. Now we need to fillet this surface. Go back to here, and the radius is 1.5. Okay, so we have this beautiful uh, shape of ball holes. So we need to select now pad 7, hole 1 and H fillet altogether by pressing Ctrl and then click on this tree. Now we need to create the pattern. We want to translate all these three to the point that we want, and just click on instances position. We click on the points that is created there and click OK. There we have our holes being placed on the surface that we want. Alright. Okay, next we need to create a borehole on the surface. So we click sketch. Sorry. Well, we click on the surface. We click borehole. Okay. The warnings is being shown because we haven't defined the this center bore yet. So we need to go to extrusion, positioning sketch, and we need to move this point, and this point must have a dimension. So the distance is 3.5 mm, and this point should be defined concentrated a coincidence with the vertical lines. Okay, so we exit the sketch first. Next, we need to create line depth of 10, track definition this was M8, click preview, the extension we need to create a bottom, V bottom of 120 degree. Alright, so we have created the first borehole there. So we need to we need to select the hole 9 and want to translate this hole to the surface, around the surface. So we click circular pattern back and select complete crown. The instances is 4, the reference element is x-axis, and the object is hole 9. We click OK. Yep, now we have the boreholes on this surface. Alright, now we create a borehole on this surface. Before that, we have to define where the center bore should be. So we create first the circle, and the circle must be the same circle as what we have created previously. The distance between these two is 50 mm. The diameter of this circle is 122. Okay. Next, we need to create a line which is horizontal on this center point of the circle. Now, again, we convert these two lines to construction line. Check back, and then we put a point on the intersection line there. And then we need to exit the sketch. With this point, we create a borehole on the surface. This time we need to create up to next. thread definition is 6. No, the diameter is 6. So we don't need this threaded. Go back here, and this one should be 6 mm. Right. Okay, so the hole is here, it's given here, and we need to project or we need to have the same hole over there. So we just highlight the whole 10, and then we go to mirror, and here we create the exact plane. Sorry, it should be the exact plane. Okay, so yep, that's it. We have now finished creating our front housing model. Next, yeah, to make it more viewable, so we just go to tools, hide all the sketches, tools, or hide all the planes that's been created. So yeah, you can have it seen like this. So the final step would be save the material, save the model, and set the material. So we need to set the material of metal. So click on the part body, and I select steel. So if you open the part body, we have steel inside there. So finishing off model. Next, you can then save it the name that you want. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.